Third one in my first startup, this one sounds crazy, but there was so much drama around the funding for my first startup that a bunch of things happened. One thing that happened was I had a term sheet and the VCs pulled the term sheet. They pulled a signed term sheet. Now, before you get all agitated and say VCs are terrible, there's always a reason for this. People ascribe the wrong behavior to VCs. Want to make money and they want to invest in the best founders and they want them to be wildly successful because that's the only way they make any money. There are fewer games than you think, but what actually happened here? Why did the VCs pull my term sheet? It was for a good reason. I had this really quirky CEO who was one of the most beloved people, maybe not beloved, respected people in the industry. And most importantly, our lead customer loved him, and our lead customer was going to give us a $6 million contract because of the COO. And after we signed the term sheet, but before we closed the deal, the COO pulled out, decided he didn't want to do it. He'd already done this in life and he didn't want to do a startup again. He pulled out. Now, he did ultimately save that customer and close them for $6 million, but it introduced a massive level of risk. So that VC pulled out, and I had to put together a hodgepodge of investors to do that seed round. And it was tough. And we couldn't make payroll, which has happened to many of you. And at the end of the day, they had a crazy ask, which was that I signed a $750,000 full recourse note to do intermediate funding to the company. Now, this made no sense. I didn't even have $750,000 of savings. But I guess they wanted to make sure I was serious enough that I had blood and skin in the game. So they made me sign a $750,000 full recourse note, the second set of investors. And that meant that, at least in theory, they could come after anything. They could come after, I had bought a house with a small down payment. They could come after the house. They could take the cars. I don't know what else they could take. Didn't have much jewelry. But with the full recourse note, they could take anything. I signed it. It was a crazy ask by VCs. I don't think we'd see that today very commonly. You might see it from non-standard folks. But I did it because that's what it took to get it off the ground. And 12 and a half months later, we sold the company for $50 million. But that was a crazy time. Couldn't make payroll. Everything was collapsing. I had one option: shut it down or sign a $750,000 personal full recourse note until the next VCs decided if they really wanted to invest. Crazy times. Crazy times. Okay.